All right, team. So this is part 2 of the answer for how to hold team members accountable in a way where they receive the feedback and they want to make change. And the first thing we talked about was the proactive conversation up front. With a team member, having that maybe right when they join or right when you join as the leader, having that position to lead conversation right off the bat, before any accountability takes place, before any work happens, establishing a position to lead. And what that looks like briefly is first in that conversation, sharing clarity of exactly what success looks like, exactly what they need to do in the role. The second is inviting contribution, inviting them to share, hey, do you think that that's right? Do you think you will be successful if you do all these things? Then they get to feel heard and seen and accounted for in that conversation. The third piece is commitment. So inviting them to fully commit to these responsibilities, to fully commit to these goals and metrics of success. And so they have now said, yes, I commit to this. This is what I want to do. And then the fourth piece is consent. So instead of just randomly holding them accountable without asking, because that can feel weird, it can feel tense, like who is this person telling me what to do? We ask for consent to lead. Hey, if you are ever not doing these things you just committed to, can I help you and support you to get back into alignment? Can I give you a little kick in the butt when you need it? Can I be that support system for you to help you be the best version of yourself? Then the fifth part, of course, is consistency. So not just checking in on them and having those accountability meetings when they do bad, but doing it consistently, maybe weekly. So consistently checking in on them, even at if they're doing, if they're in alignment or if they're not in alignment, always consistently checking in and being that support system for them. So their defense system lowers, and they don't just think every time that you come that it's going to be this moment of, oh my God, I messed up. And that's what I found is, oh my God, if I'm not consistent about checking in, then when I do check in, they're going to think that it's always because they've done something wrong. And then now I become the trigger in them of, oh no, I'm in trouble. And that's not what I want to be as a leader. I want it to be, oh my God, I'm supported. That's what I want that trigger to be when I come and approach a team member. It's, oh my gosh, I'm about to be supported no matter how I showed up. So that's the proactive side, is just having that conversation, to be in a position to lead, to even be in a position to hold someone accountable, to have that type of dialogue. That conversation happens first. And what that does is it opens up possibility for a really productive, useful, amazing accountability experience in the future, which is really, really, really important. I want to set myself up. So then what I do after that is I have those consistent check-ins. And this is part 2 of how to have these accountability conversations in a way where they receive the feedback and they want to change and they're really excited about it. They're inspired about what's happening. So now it's the actual conversation, the accountability check-in. And I do that weekly with team members. I have my clients do that weekly. And the secret sauce here is giving them a report to fill out that lays out all their responsibilities and allowing them to share whether they did what they were supposed to do or not, and also any room for improvement. So I'm inviting them to self-reflect on if they did everything and if they did it well. And then if they feel like they didn't do it well, on that report it says, hey, how could you do it better? How could you do it differently? How could you do it at all if you didn't do it at all? And I'm inviting them to self-reflect themselves and hold themselves accountable through this report. So before we even had that dialogue, they have filled out this report where they have checked off whether they did things, and they've also checked off or shared and reflected on how they could do them better or differently or more effective. So this is absolutely crucial. So when I finally had that conversation, we're just going over this report. I'm not coming in and saying, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. I'm actually opening up and I'm like, oh, hey, look, I see that you didn't do this and you've said how you could do it differently. Okay, that's amazing. So they now have taken ownership of their own performance, and I'm just affirming the changes that they want to make. So the question is, well, Thomas, what if they're not seeing it? What if they have a blind spot? What if they're not admitting to it? So after I've given them an opportunity to self-reflect and take ownership and make change, which is so powerful, and giving them agency in their own accountability. The second thing I can do if they're not seeing it, or if there's blind spots, or there's something else I want to talk about, I can ask, hey, can I reflect some things that I've been seeing? So that's part 2, is reflecting. Hey, I see maybe you did this, but it wasn't in the way that we originally talked about. Or, hey, I see that you didn't do this. So providing reflections of where they maybe weren't in alignment with what they committed to do. And again, inviting them to say, hey, what do you think? What do you think about that? What do you think you could do differently? What do you think you could do next time? What do you think you could do to make that never happen again? So this time I'm sharing reflections, and I'm still inviting them to take ownership of that accountability. And then the last piece is like, well, Thomas, what if they're not taking that accountability? What if they're not owning that? What if they're not seeing what they could do differently? So the third piece is asking, hey, could I share some tips or things that I think you could do differently next time to make sure that you're in alignment with what you committed to do, and this maybe doesn't come up as often in the future. So that's the third piece. We don't start with, you didn't do this, this is what you need to fix. It's actually ending with asking for an opportunity to share some tips and some ideas that you have that you think could help support them in what they committed to do. And that's the secret too, is like, you're not telling them what to do. It's, you committed to do this. Here's what I'm seeing you could do differently to be more effective. So once they give that consent, it's like, hey, here's what I'm seeing. Here's a couple ideas. Here's what I think you could do differently. How do you feel about that? So that's the last piece, again, is inviting them into reflecting on your ideas. So that's the key here, is in these accountability conversations, we want to invite them to hold themselves accountable, like reflect and hold themselves accountable. And any missing pieces after that, we reflect and still invite them to hold themselves accountable. And then if there's still things they're not seeing, the last thing we do is reflect ourselves and offer ideas on accountability and what they can do differently. And then at the end, I'm always asking for consent for accountability. Hey, with these changes we just talked about, can I reach out if I'm seeing that you're forgetting, or there's an opportunity for you to do better with these changes we talked about? Can I check in with you and hold you accountable to that? Constantly asking and getting that consent for accountability, because these conversations are support systems. Like, I, as a leader, come to this conversation as a support system to help them be who they committed to be, do what they committed to do, and become the best version of themselves. I'm literally just doing everything I can to help them win. It's like being a basketball coach. I want to help them be the best power forward of all time. And that helps me, that helps the team, that helps our cause, it helps everything. So leadership is not telling people what to do, telling people what to fix. It's about helping them become empowered and helping them make change on their own, and helping them become the best version of themselves and do what they committed to do. It's because it's what they want. I want to help them do what they want. I want to help them be who they want to be. I want to help them maximize their potential. And that's really the seat I take in these conversations. And because of that, they're really excited about feedback. Often I don't even have to give it, because I've asked them to reflect so much and self-accountable, hold themselves accountable so deeply. And they really want to make the change, because it's them. It's who they want to be. It's what they want to do. It's what they committed to do. They want to be a significant part of this cause. So they're excited to make change, and I've already asked for consent to reach out and give them a little kick in the butt if they need it. This makes all the difference. These people, what I see every time is their defenses are lowered, they're open, they're excited, because they know I'm just here to help them be the best version of themselves. So if you're vibing with this, go try it on. Have these conversations with team members, lean in and put this into practice in your life, and then let me know in the comments how it goes. I want to know everything. I want to hear how it went. I want to hear how it made all the difference for you. And if you're aligned with Humans Together and our vision of a world where people feel like this whole humans coexisting on planet Earth thing is going to work out after all, then join us. Subscribe to the channel and join our worthy movement. All right, my friends. Talk soon.